Hello, Connie here. This is the 7th tutorial in this series about how to write beautiful piano music. Today we're going to actually get started on a composition. All right, let's get started. This is what we're learning today, a parallel period. We're starting with a very short type of song, 2 phrases, 1, 2. There are 2 types of these little short songs, a musical sentence and a musical period. We're obviously doing the period. And then there's a parallel period, and then it's just called a regular period, I guess. But this is parallel, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. All right, we are going to start with the harmony. Now, we have learned what progressions are. We've learned how to write progressions. We've learned the chord functions. That's all going to come into play here. Okay, here's how you write a parallel period. A parallel period is a short theme in music made up of 2 phrases, a question phrase and an answer phrase. Okay, do you remember if you watched the last tutorial about cadences? Let me just scroll back and show you. A half cadence is any chord that goes to a 5 chord and ends on a 5 chord. It's a half cadence because it sounds unfinished, like a question. So we're going to end the first phrase here with a 5 chord. So it's a half cadence. Each phrase is 4 measures long. Okay, the measure lines are not written in here. You can imagine there's bar lines between each of these. Begin both phrases, end the second phrase on a 1 chord. The first phrase ends on a 5 chord, and that's because it's going to be a half cadence or a question cadence. And parallel means the 2 phrases begin the same. So repeat the first 2 measures of the first phrase for the second phrase. All right, so let's go through what we have to do here. We're going to just write the Roman numerals in. We have to start on tonic. That's very common. We have to start on 1, so we establish where home is. This phrase is going to end on a 5 chord. This is all written in the key of C, by the way. This is parallel. That means the first 2 measures right here have to copy whatever we do up here for the first 2. Then this has to end on a 1. And we learned before about cadences. Let's make this a perfect authentic cadence. So it's going to go 5, 1. So that's all decided for us. Now, for these 2 boxes here, right here and right here, we get some choices. We can either stay on tonic for another chord. It would be maybe a good idea to have this be a subdominant. So let's have this be like the king of the subdominant family, a 4 chord. And for this one, we could either move to another tonic or a subdominant. Let's move to a subdominant that's a little weaker, a 6. 6 can also sound like another tonic. So it kind of goes between those 2. Whatever we did here, the 1, 6, we have to do on the second line. 1, 6. Ta-da! There's the chord progression for our parallel period. Okay, now we're going to write out, if we wrote out these chords, you know how to do the inversions. This is a C, E, G chord. And we know this because we did these charts in the very first tutorial in the workbook. It's found on Amazon for how to compose beautiful piano music. This is the key of C major. Here's the numbers. Chord number 1 starts on C. It is a C, E, G chord. Next, we're going to move to a 6. It's an A chord, A, C, E. It just tells us the notes that you need to use for that chord. So A, C, E, but we're going to flip them around, or what's called an inversion, so that it stays close. This C is going to stay the same. E is going to stay the same, and we'll move that to an A. And then this 4 chord is F, A, C. So there's F, A, C. And then a 5 chord, D, G, B. G, B, D are those. All right, we have to start this second line mimicking the first line. So we do the exact same chords. Now we go to a 5 chord. Let's not go up to that same one. Let's go a different inversion. And then we end on a 1 chord. Ta-da! So we're all done with the chord progression of our parallel period. Here's what it sounds like. See how that's a question? And then we do the second line. And it resolves. It sounds like an answer. Okay, now we're going to add melody, right? Because that is the harmony, the chords. Now we'll add the melody. Use the same chord progression from the previous page. Oh, look, I already wrote it in for us. Write the melody in the treble clef. So right up here, we're going to write the melody. Use only quarter notes or half notes. I assume you know what those are. End each phrase with a half note. That helps it sound a little more final. And sorry, we're getting a little notification here. Use only notes that are found in the chord that's in the bass clef for your melody in that measure. So we're not going to use any weird things. It's just going to match the chord. Remember to repeat the melody for the first two measures of the second phrase like you're repeating the harmony, and end the melody on the tonic note C. Okay, so we can only use these three notes, C, E, and G, for our melody. So, and we're going to use quarter notes. Let's go C, C, E, E. Yay. All right, then we're going to go, this is C, E, and A. So let's go E, C, E, E. Now F, A, and C. Oh, we can just move up here really quick, easy to F, A, F, F. Oh, this is not an E. This is a 5 chord. It's G, B, and D. So G, B, D, 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 and a G. We have to end on a half note, so it ends a little more. Oh, look, that's a lot of quarter notes. That's all right. It's good to have movement in the melody, so that'll be good. Then we're going to copy the first two measures exactly. C, C, E, 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 C, E, E. Now we are on a 5 chord, G, B, or D. Let's go D, G, D, G. I just pop back and forth between those. D, G, D, G. Now C, E, and G. Let's stay on E. No, let's not stay on G. We'll go down to E, G, and we have to end on a C, so we can hop down to a C or up. I'm just going to go up for that half note. Okay, want to hear what that sounds like? Just following our rules. Here we go. All right, cute. Okay, in the workbook, I'm just going to make this a little smaller. We'll go to the next page. It says to write 3 more parallel periods using the key of C for one of them, and then choose new keys for the others. There's 15 major keys, 12 if you don't count those that are enharmonic. And we'll talk about those in another video, but 12, basically 12 choices for keys. Do something other than the key of C. Here's one for the key of C. You just follow the same pattern that we did. In the workbook, there it says is written out, but you can just get manuscript paper and write this on your own manuscript paper. The workbook provides extra for extra practice. Nice job. That's the beginning. Obviously, it's a very, very simple composition. We're going to add more to make it a little more interesting. And I am excited for that, so I'll see you in the next video. Like Perfect Cadence, this is the end.